Hey, Shalom. First, let me give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakadash, Yahweh, who the word only calls God, Yahweh Shah, who the word only calls Jesus. I want to give a double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone, who has taught me this truth. I want to give a peace and blessings to the Akim across the four corners of the earth who teach the truth for which like to do so. It's going to be a quick video. Low in the video is edifying. Only I can get some from this video. Quick video through the Spirit. I'm going to grab a couple of precepts here in Nahum, whatever, Nahum the 3rd chapter, whatever precepts come to mind, I'll grab as well. Had a conversation, I was a part of a conversation earlier about, just the future of, the U to the S to the A, right? And, you can see the energy that the people have as far as their trust in the place, their trust in, in the technology of America, or the so-called power that America has, but they don't have an understanding that, that's just because the influence may be big, or the influence may be big, or the power may look big, or it may look like it's, how can I say this? It might look like that it's not going to collapse, or it's not going to fold, or it got this power, it got this way of getting out of trouble. You got to understand, man, when you're wrapped up in so much debt, you're wrapped up in so much wickedness and evil, you're wrapped up in all kind of shit, you got to understand, man, this, it's not good for, it ain't good for societies like that. When you look at other nations, other kingdoms that existed, right, you quickly understand that, they fell too, okay? Let me get this. And you look at the pattern which they had before they fell, and you see that, America's on that same trail, okay? What was the cause of falling? Let's grab that. What was the cause of Rome falling? The fall of Rome wasn't caused by one single event. It was the result of long-term decay combined with external pressure. Historians generally agree it was a slow collapse, not a sudden destruction. Below is a clear breakdown of the core causes. All right, so let's jump down. It says, eternal corruption and political instability, and powers were frequently assassinated or overthrown. Power struggles, emperors were frequently assassinated or overthrown. Power struggles weakened leadership. Loyalty shifted from Rome to personal gain. Government became bloated and inefficient. It says Rome rotted from the inside first, okay? Which, you kind of see the decay in America as well. It says economic collapse, heavy taxation crushed citizens, currency was debased, less silver, more inflation, wealth concentrated among elites, trade declined as roads and security failed. The empire could no longer pay or sustain itself. Right, when you go to scriptures, it talks about that thick clay. Right, thick clay goes into debt. Right, and when you look at the debt that America has, it's to a point of ain't no recovery for it. Okay, overexpansion. Rome grew too large to govern effectively. Borders stretched across Europe, Africa, and Asia. Armies were spread thin and costly. Armies were spread thin and costly. Power exceeded control. Military weakening. Reliance in mercenaries instead of Roman soldiers. Declining discipline and morale. Foreign soldiers had no loyalty to Rome itself. Okay, let's jump down. This is barbarian invasions. Groups like the Visigoths, the Vandals, and the Huns pushed inward. Rome was sacked multiple times, 1410 AD, 1455 AD. The Western Empire collapsed. In 476 AD, external pressure finished what eternal decay began. Division of the empire, split into western and eastern halves. The eastern, later called the Byzantine Empire, survived, which, if I'm not mistaken, the Moors, that was around the time of the Moors, back when this split happened. Okay, since the West, Rome lacked resources and stability, unity was broken, loss of Roman identity, civic pride faded. Citizens no longer believed in Rome as an idea. People cared more about survival than empire, and it's going to get to a point that that's going to happen in the States as well. Okay. It says the core truth: Rome didn't fall because it was conquered. It fell because it stopped being Rome. Well, ultimately, it fell because it was wicked. Ultimately, it fell because, anything evil and wicked is not going to flourish. Wickedness is not immortal. Okay? How is similar? Let's get this. So, I'm saying, but they decay the same way. All right, let's read that. It says America is similar to Rome in pattern, not in outcome yet. Empires don't fall the same way, but they decay the same way. Here's a clean side-by-side breakdown. United States versus Rome, the parallels. Political divisions and eternal conflict. Rome, constant power struggles, leaders focused on survival, not legacy. Institutions lost credibility. America, extreme polarization, power battles, long-term vision, public trust in institutions declining. When unity breaks, strength leaks. Economic strain. Rome, debased currency, crushing taxes, wealthy hoarded by elites. America, massive debt. See, currency dilution via money printing, wealth gap widening, middle class shrinking. I think I looked up how much money was printed every day. If I'm not mistaken, it's up there. It's like, let me see, man. I might be off on the number. I did a video. I said it in a video about like a month or two ago. I think it was like 50-something million. Here, I'll look it up in just a moment. It says currency dilution via money printing, wealth gap widening, middle class shrinking. When money loses meaning, loyalty follows. Over extension, Rome, too many borders, too many wars, military spread thin. America, global military presence, foreign entanglements, enormous defense spreading. And how long has America been at war? Since it's been established? Okay, since it's had reign, how long has it been in war? Power everywhere, control nowhere, cultural decay. Rome, excess, indulgence, distractions, entertainment over virtue, discipline. Replaced by pleasure. America, dopamine culture, screens, porn, drugs, instant gratification, fame, honor, comfort, resilience. You know what's crazy is that people, they'll do anything to be famous. It's about fame. It's not about morals and principles. It's not about honor, right? It's not about integrity. It's about being known, being seen, being this figure, right? But the people who have like notoriety in this place, I mean, when you look at what they're known for, you're like, what the how did this benefit anything, right? As a matter of fact, it's crazy, man. I just, I'm in a hotel right now. I'm in Brazil, and I just came downstairs. I'm not going to mention the person's name, but I literally just walked past one of the people in a hallway that's a big figure in the world, especially in the social media world. You know what I mean? And when you look at, I'm gonna just say this, right? And not specifically about this person, but when you look at certain different things, you realize like it's not about having a high moral standard for yourself. It's not about being known for the right things, right? It's not about actually benefiting or helping the society. It's all about what it's all about them. You know what I mean? I'll just say that. It's all about them, right? It's all about them being in the limelight and having fame and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But when you look at like how does this person, you know, benefit? How can anyone? How can the society grow from people like this, or people that's in that the spotlight is on, I should say, right? Scripture say, "For all these set in great dignity." You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, hey, it's the saying, and not about this person. I'm out that, out that person, but because right here it says, comfort over resilience, fame over honor, right? A soft culture cannot defend a hard empire. Okay, and what is it saying? It says, how does it go, man? Strong men. How does this, man? How does it? Let me get the quote. Strong men, weak men. Quote. Strong men create. Here's it. Oh yeah, hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Right, and that's what you have. And I said all that just basically to get at this, right? We going into hard times. Now I'm not. Whatever a person does, a man or a woman does, you know what I'm saying? That's their business, man. You know what I'm saying? If it's wicked, obviously we're gonna call you on it. You know what I'm saying? But hey, whatever you do, man, that's on. Me personally, I'm not fit to dive into your life and this and that. With me, it's way bigger things to look at and be worried about. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna even say I wish that was on a global scale. You know what I'm saying? But if it was on a global scale, you wouldn't have situations like this. You wouldn't have hard times to create strong men or strong men. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have that. But right now is we're in an era of weak men, which leads into what? A hard time. Okay. I said I was gonna look up this, right? I said, how much money does America print every? How much money does America print every day? I don't know if it's gonna give me an exact. I might have to put roughly, but we're gonna see. Short answer is there's no fixed daily amount, but but on average, the U.S. creates the equivalent of tens of billions of dollars per day in new money liquidated. So what I was saying, we go down physical cash, literal printing. U.S. prints 500 to 700 million in paper currency per day. So I was off. All right, I knew it was either like 5 or 7, but I said 50 or 70, which I was off. But anyway, 500 to 700, right? So that affects the economy, man. Okay, the value is the dollar. Okay, so when you look at, matter of fact, how long has the average rulership for a Slovakia? One second. For an empire, how long has the average rulership for an empire been? Let's look up that. Okay. It says Average lifespan of an empire, 200 to 300 years, from rise to collapse or major transformation. Empires and their durations. Roman Empire, 500 years total, but true dominance, 250 years. And, we understand that, America is really like the new Rome, right? So let's look at how long has America been in power. America has existed for 250 years, but a global superpower for about 80 years. So age today, so basically the lifespan of it has been about 250 years. But if you look at, and I probably shouldn't have put like been in power, but if you look at, just the timeline as far as, what is leaking into, and you look at the things that's going on across the world and the things that we were told to look for, you will understand like, oh, okay, the signs are here clearly, right? Wars, rumors of wars, earthquakes in diverse places, right? The signs are here, but it's still more to come. There's still more prophecies that has to be fulfilled before the end comes. Who knows the end? Who knows that day? No one, right? But the Most High, Yahweh, He knows, okay? But nobody else knows, But the prophets know what to look for, okay? And this is what we're teaching and preaching. This is why, like, you got to have patience, you know what I'm saying? And through this patience, right, master yourself. Become the best man of the Lord you can be. That's really the goal. That's really the goal, man. Okay? While you have this grace period, got a lot of people that use this grace period to freak out. You know what I'm saying? And do all kind of things that's not profitable to their salvation. You know what I mean? But we understand that the drop is likened to a wave, okay? That wave is the masses of people that's going to be destroyed. That drop is the small number that's going to be delivered and saved up out of, the said perils, okay? This is Nahum 3 and 4. It says, because of the multitude of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. Okay? And really, how is this place being exposed? Through the prophets. The scripture said we are even grievous unto them to even behold. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't really hear about how the rulers of this society got down until, really our elders came out and exposed it. You know what I mean? The truth, ever since the truth has been here, it's been, the light has been, I'll just say this, this place has been exposed. Now people starting to question, like, well, hold on, man. These men got a point. You know what I mean? Hey, these men got a point. You know what I mean? Like, when you start looking and paying attention, like, oh shit, the scriptures say, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Okay? And these are wicked people ruling, man. The earth is under a wicked vibration. Who the fuck? Come on, man. You don't want to. You want to live like that? That's what you want to and put your marbles into? You tripping. But hey, I'm just a man in a camp, and Lord willing, I'm a man of the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? Okay? Let me grab this and I'll close the video out. This is Isaiah 31 and 1. It says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord Yahweh, not yet, because Your counsel is here in Egypt. You trust in Egypt. You trust in the modern day Egypt is America. You trust in this place. Okay? You don't trust in the Lord. You don't, because if your actions is everything, man. It's not really about what you say, right? Praise, lips, right? But let me see. By him continually talk about Salakia. Praise, but inward. Oh man, give me 1 second. Where is it at, Salakia? Let me ChatGPT that, man. Hold on. What scripture? Look it up here. Says they praise me with their mouth, but inwardly they are, I think it's wicked or evil. Let's see. Right here, Isaiah 29:13. Yep. Is this it? Hold on. So like it. Matthew 15:8. I think that's what I'm looking for. Matthew 15:8. Right here. It says, this people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Matthew 15:8. Let's get that in the blue letter real quick so I can. Matthew 15:8. Let's get that word heart real quick, because you gotta look up words. Bigger sense. So receive spirit, life, soul. Okay, the soul or mind as is. See, thoughts, passion, desires, appetites. Okay. Yes. Okay. So it says the soul or mind as it is, the fountain and seat of the thoughts, passions, desires, appetites, affections, purpose, endeavors of understanding. Okay. Of the soul so far it is affected. So really, I thought the word was going to be la'ah, which is your mind, but it's kind of saying the same thing here, right? The soul or mind, right? So when you look at it, Matthew 15:8 says, "His people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips." So a lot of people have praise and they say that they're God fearing, right? But their heart is far from the Most High, and that's the thing you don't want to be. And that's the thing, and I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, that you don't want to have. You know what I'm saying? That you want to work on not having. You know what I'm saying? Every day, right? Every day you want to sharpen that. Boom, boom. Make sure that your words line up with your actions. You know what I mean? Make sure your words line up with your actions, man. Because at the end of the day, words are just words, man, but how you really feel about somebody, right? Whether it's love or that's all action. Okay. Okay? Action, hey, if your parents was mistreating you and, you know, beating the fuck out you and for nothing and all that, but they said I loved you at the end of the day, you wouldn't believe it because their actions show different. Same thing with like with a woman, right? This woman is committing adultery on you. This woman is doing this. This woman is doing that. This woman is being disrespectful. Right? But she said, "Oh, I love you." Like you don't come on. Not, with your words, you saying that, but with your actions, is other words. It's another thing. They're not lining up. They're not matching. Right? So let's make sure. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. Let's make sure that's not us when it comes to Yahweh Shai, man. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost again. Okay? Hey, so with that, man, only videos edifying, only I can got something for this video. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Kakadash. I want to tell you, brothers, keep pushing until the next Shalom.